Folks, good evening. We are talking tonight about the exciting, terrifying, nerve-wracking world of public speaking. Let's start with a moment of honesty. Does anyone here actually enjoy it? All right. Okay. Wow, that's more than usual. When they do surveys around the world and they ask people, what is your number one fear? Death typically comes second. And public speaking tops the list in most places. And what that teaches us is that at your average funeral, most people would rather be the guy in the box than the one delivering the eulogy. Now, folks, if you are perhaps a little nervous about this, if you are shivering with fear about your upcoming speech, and perhaps you're somewhat introverted and you're worried about this, I want to tell you right up front that sometimes the most terrified, scared, introverted person turns out to be the most excellent speaker in the room, and it just might be you. I've been a professional speaker for some 25 years, which really just means I've made every possible mistake, and anything that can go wrong has happened to me. I've entered a thing called the Toastmasters World Championships of Public Speaking. Anyone ever heard of that one? Okay, there is a World Championships for public speaking, believe it or not. And in that one, I've had things go wrong. You step up onto the stage, you're about to do your opening dramatic line, and as you open your mouth, you realize your voice no longer works. Ladies and gentlemen! And it's all downhill from there. I've had weird ones in my professional career as well. I had one where I had a hostile audience. I wasn't expecting it. It was just a motivational speech, like, yeah, go out there and live your life. I drive to the venue, I do my presentation, tell some stories, try and deliver some humor, like my best lines, and it's just silence across the room. And you can watch the tumbleweed going by like in a desert. And I get through it as best I can. I sit down afterwards. I say to the guy next to me, what did I do wrong? Did I offend them at the beginning? And he says, no, before you arrived, the CEO got up and he chewed them out for the results from last year. And he said, next week I'm firing half of you. And then you walked into the room and said, live your best life. Ha ha. Bad timing, and I simply didn't know about it. I have 15 minutes here to share with you the best things I've learned from 25 years of standing on stages, getting some things right, having disasters, things going wrong. And I've tried to put it into the context of an upcoming debate, but you can use this for any presentation. The ideas I will present you with tonight, 10 of them, are really what you might call buffet style. Pick the ones that suit you. Use the ones that give you the most mileage. You don't have to use a single one here, but they will all serve you. They will all make you a better, more powerful speaker if you want to try them out. If you just want to try one or two of them, grab and go. They will make you more powerful. Right, let's start with the first one, which is the best speakers rehearse without words. Why? Because there's something weird that goes on in public speaking. There are multiple skill sets, and the one that we focus on the most is the script. We sit and we write our script, and we say very clever, very profound things. And then we get up in front of people on a stage, and suddenly our hands don't quite know what to do. So we want to say the profound thing from our script, but nothing is quite working. And we can get into the science of this. Basically, your brain develops myelin for talent. And the more it does it, the faster and more easily everything moves. And it becomes smooth and it becomes effortless. But how do you practice? Because you never get to do a speech other than live in front of judgmental human beings. So here's the answer. Grab yourself a mirror and simply count arbitrarily 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in public speaking rhythms. I'll do it for you. So I stand up in front of the mirror and I make sure no one is around because this stuff is embarrassing. And I'll do what sounds like a dramatic opening. See myself in the mirror, go, okay, make sure the body language looks loose and relaxed. 1, 2, no, too big. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. Okay, that's working, so keep going. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And when it starts to flow, I then start dabbling with different emotions. So we'll get something profound in there. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I go, I look so clever. And then I want to do something touching and human with a little emotion to it. So I lean forward into the mirror and I say, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes.
I do slightly similar thing.
Yep.
I find it works better if you just felt Asabo.
Yeah.
Just out that's rubbish.
Right. Just make sure the rubbish you spout is not like old Latin, you'll summon something. But yes, you can make any sound you want. It can be blah, blah, blah. The point is, it's like practicing the scales on a piano. You're not thinking about the words. You're thinking about the rhythm of public speaking. So that's tip number one, is practice without any words. Take the words out of it so that you don't have to think. You can just see how it looks and how it sounds. Now, the more you do it, the more the rhythms start to feel natural. Then you take your clever script and you insert it back into the process, and you find that everything just flows the way that it did when you were counting or blah, blah, blahing or summoning something from a nether region. So that is tip number one. Tip number two, flowing on from that one, is match your body language to the size of the idea. Some of the things we say are not particularly profound or massive or gargantuan. They're things like, there's no smoking in this room, the bathrooms are at the back, we're going to be here for the next 15 minutes. That doesn't warrant a lot of dramatic body language. So you see the hands come up a little, but it's fairly small. But if I want to say something that touches the heart and soul and changes the minds, it becomes more intense. Now, you can actually alter the intensity of what you're saying simply via your body language. If you want to make a point profound, bring your hands up to your face, lean forward. If it's something chatty, keep them down here, keep them casual. So you match the size of your body language to the size of the idea you're delivering. If you don't, it undermines the profound parts. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Douglas. And today, by the time I get to my profound idea, there's nothing left. I have emotionally exhausted you. You can also then build in wonderful contrasts by starting slow and building. So match it to the size of what you are speaking about. And you do that on purpose. Number three, and I believe in this one, this to me is the magic sauce in public speaking. How much contrast can you get in there? Think about your script for a moment, the one you might be delivering on Thursday. What is the best, just give me a sec, what is the best bit, the most profound part? What is the emotion behind that? For example, are you going to be thundering home a point? Okay, then do something else beforehand so that you can change emotions. Start casual, start friendly, and build to the thundering part. Or if you're starting with something thundering, go from that into something chatty. And it's that emotional range that changes things. You can build it in on purpose. You can have the parts where you speed up and the body language becomes intense and animated, and then the profound, moving bits. You slow it all down. And that simple change in rhythms makes it attractive. Right, number four, pauses make it profound. Who's planning on using a script in front of themselves? Are you going to take one in? Okay, fantastic. If you do that, here is a simple little mistake to avoid. I've watched these debates before, and what tends to happen is people get to their most profound point and look down at the end of the sentence. If anything, look up at the end. So it's, I'm looking at my note to remember what I want to say. And then I look back down again. As opposed to, I'm looking at my note to realize what I want to say, and it gets lost. The eye contact comes at the end, and that makes it so much more profound. Pauses add a certain air of authority, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Watch this in motion. Okay, I'll give you two different versions, the fast one and the slow one. So, fast version. Hi folks, my name is Douglas Kruger, and I've been speaking for 25 years, so I'm going to show you how you can use body language to increase your authority and look very professional. Same again. Hi folks. My name is Douglas Kruger, and I've been speaking for 25 years. And today I'd like to show you how you can use your body language to look more masterful, more professional. So the first thing you need to know. And the basic rule of thumb is this. The more important the point, the longer your pause. If you have a massive, profound idea, one point, one line that is your golden nugget, put a 3 or 4 second pause after that. Now, I must just warn you as well, it feels excruciating. There is nothing harder than pausing and saying nothing in front of an audience. So here's how you do it. Just glance around the room, and that helps you to take up a little time. What you don't want to do is to bore into just one person. Ever had someone do that to you when you're in the audience? Yeah. So you deliver your profound line, take a moment just to look around the room in silence. Let the line hang, let the silence become profound. The longer the silence, the more profound the point is perceived to be. You can play with that as you do your exercise in the mirror. Idea number 5, your stance increases your authority. Do me a favor and stand up right where you are. Yep. Shake your hands up, make sure your trapezius muscles are nice and loose. We tend to register nerves in the traps, the trapezius muscles, so make sure that's nice and loose, hands hanging at your side. Right, look down at your feet. They should be forming a very loose V roughly under your shoulders. So you don't want to be standing with your feet together like this, and you don't want to be doing cowboy stance like that. Okay? Just a loose V under your shoulders. Now here's a simple little body language trick that ups your levels of perceived authority and credibility. Switch the body language off from the waist down. Just that. The movement is from the waist upward. You lean forward and you can use your gestures and so forth, but you switch off everything down there. Why? Well, because watch what happens if I don't. Hi folks, my name is Douglas Kruger and I'm quite confident about the things I'd like to say to you. So it becomes like a solid base. Your authority is created from the waist down. You don't lean to one side or to the other. All the movement is from here. Right, lift your hands for a sec. We're going to do some gestures for me. There are no rules to gestures. Just don't get stuck doing the same thing over and over. So what I do is basically this. I drop my hands down to my sides and I bring them up and use one hand for a while, use two hands for a while. If it's a small point, it's down here somewhere. If it's a big point, it's up here. Try an up here point for me. Fantastic. Right. Here's another simple little thing. If you are confident, you will tend to break the space in front of you. If you're shy, you'll tend to gesture to the side. Now you can control that. You can decide if you want to look confident or if you want to come across as shy. So reaching forward portrays greater confidence. And that's what I'd like you to know. And these are the ideas that we will take home. And this is the thing that makes the most impact in the lives around us. As opposed to, and this is how I feel, and I really think we should try that. Keep your hands at your sides, you look more nervous. You can control that, you can change it. Have a seat. Number 6. This is the thing most people forget when they speak. Because we're under such pressure, you never smile. Now, in a debate, you're not going to be smiling a lot. And you also shouldn't. Like, ladies and gentlemen, my idea to change the world. Strangely creepy. Yeah. But what you do want to do is bring it in a charming way just once or twice. And it will change things. Because everyone else is nervous too. And they are nervous and straight-faced and the eyes look like they are switched off. Instead, you do this. You switch your eyes on. And you plan in your script, when I get to this point, I'm just going to smile at the audience. And then drop it and become serious again. Do it once or twice in the course of a small script, and it will transform the audience's experience of you. It makes it look like you're not under pressure, like you're enjoying yourself. Number 7, open with short phrases. Love me a long sentence, but don't do it at the beginning. So here's the way I like to do it. The shorter the phrase, the better. For 2 or 3 phrases, then I can get into the long ones. Give me a subject, just off the top of your head. What can I talk about? Yep.
Quantity of oranges in Barbados.
Why not? Okay. Yeah. So here's what I want to do. Short phrases. Barbados, an island paradise. I wonder if you've ever questioned the number of oranges you might encounter. Ladies and gentlemen, the last time I went to Barbados, I was flooded with nothing but oranges. It became an orange fest. Okay. So what did I do there rhythmically? It was like one word and a short phrase. Yeah, 5. Another short phrase, and then I launch into the chatty bits. So what you don't want to do is a long run-on sentence up front. And there are several reasons for that. 1, it's fraught with peril for you, the speaker. You're likely to get it wrong when you're nervous. But 2, the audience is tuning into you. They are hearing your voice. They are checking you out. They are calibrating their listening to you. Give them a moment to do so. So it's the short phrase, and look around. And another short phrase, and look around, and carry on from there. Now I can start to speed up and I can start to chat with you. I'm a big fan of questions as an opening. I find they work incredibly well. They're a strong hook for an audience. Have you ever wondered, do you remember the last time? Something like that. Questions are incredibly effective. Right, number 8, make your points both visual and emotive. Okay, there's quite a bit going on there psychologically. This man over here, Steven Pinker, he's a cognitive psychologist, and he's made some interesting discoveries about how the brain processes information. Basically comes down to this. We're perfectly capable of understanding charts and graphs and dots and dashes and diagrams and numbers, but we don't love them. They don't light us up, and they rarely persuade us. So what does? Well, it turns out that when you talk or write in stories, that's the part that gets through. People remember stories, and most critically, the part of the brain associated with persuasion is lit up by them. Now, when we say stories, people get this one wrong. It doesn't mean you have to tell a long story. It simply means make some pictures move in their imagination. That's it. So I'll give you an example of that. Let's say, for instance, my data is this. I want to say 1 in 4 mothers believes the following. Okay, that is dry data. In order to turn it into a little visual picture story, I simply say this. Imagine you gathered 5 mums into a room and you asked them this question. Only one of them would raise her hand and say the following. There you go, that's the story. It took me 5 seconds to take that data and transform it into something that moves in the theater of your imagination. That's how you do it. And if you can make it emotional with consequences, so much the better. Folks, it works in a debate as well. We think of a debate as something quite dry and intellectual, and yet, if you can bring in the yearning, the emotion, the humanity, make them see moving picture stories that touch human hearts and souls, you're going to win that thing, because that is what persuades. Right, number 9, the strength of your viewpoint makes you a leader. What do I mean by that? Okay, so once again, we're dealing with data and ideas, but you can go a step further. You can have your thoughts, your opinions, become a champion for something, and it's actually much more powerful because we are gathered in a room here talking to human beings. Now, it's always going to be a contest of facts and data, but facts and data are represented in story form, and the speaker who tells the strongest and most compelling story tends to win. So, what is your point? What is your cause? What are you trying to prove? Can you do it in such a way that it sounds like you doing it? I'll give you an example. It's the difference between the Oxford Dictionary defines terrorism as follows versus we know what terrorism looks like, but what does it do to the people around us? That's the difference. That's you talking. That goes from the realms of dry data and definitions to your thoughts, the ideas that you champion. That makes the world of difference. Now, final idea, the best framing wins. Following on from that, if you are able to frame your argument in the most powerful way, you are likely to be the best speaker or to win that debate. What does that mean? Well, the framing basically comes down to this. If we agree the following, then it follows that. So I've taken a complex issue, whatever your issue, your cause, the thing that you are proposing, and said something like, because we are good people, it follows that. And I framed it in a way that almost becomes inescapable. The strongest framing wins. I can't spend a lot of time on that one, but that essential idea is unbelievably powerful. What are you championing? What are you proposing? Start with an if, then therefore. If this is important to us, then therefore it must follow that. Strong framing changes everything. Now, folks, don't worry if something goes wrong on the day, because the more you enjoy it, the more you will carry it. If your voice cracks like you're sort of 12 years old and things are changing, if you forget a word, if something goes wrong in the room, please don't let it show. It's not about a perfect delivery. In fact, if you look like you're enjoying yourself, that will outperform a dry but perfect delivery. Your enjoyment of the thing carries the day. That's why you want a couple of smiles in there. That's why you want to sound like you. If anything goes wrong, play with it, move on. Then, at the end of your profound point, leave a long pause, and then hand back to the person who introduced you. Thank you so much and good luck.